Human communication is a multifaceted tapestry woven from both the words we speak and the silent signals our bodies broadcast. While verbal language is often considered the primary method of interaction, it is frequently the least reliable indicator of a person's true internal state. Men and women often utilize vastly different communication styles, particularly when navigating the waters of social attraction. Men are generally socialized to be more direct, often relying on literal statements and explicit actions to convey interest. In contrast, women frequently employ a more sophisticated and subtle array of nonverbal cues. This disparity can lead to significant misunderstandings, where a man might overlook the very signs of interest he is seeking simply because he is looking for a direct verbal confirmation that may never come. Understanding these differences is not just a matter of social curiosity, it is a fundamental aspect of social intelligence. Women's communication is often rooted in high context signals, meaning the environment, the relationship history, and the nonverbal subtext carry as much weight as the words themselves. This sophisticated signaling system allows for a degree of plausible deniability, enabling a woman to test the waters of attraction without the social risk of an overt rejection. To navigate this effectively, one must look beyond the surface level of conversation and delve into the world of involuntary physical responses. The foundation of modern understanding regarding nonverbal communication lies in the study of microexpressions and the extensive research conducted by social scientists over the last several decades. Microexpressions are fleeting, involuntary facial movements that occur in as little as a 25th of a second. These movements are triggered by the limbic system, the primitive part of the brain responsible for our emotional responses, which operates much faster than the prefrontal cortex, where conscious thought and speech are processed. Because these expressions are involuntary, they are incredibly difficult to fake or suppress, making them the most honest indicators of how a person truly feels in a specific moment. Pioneers in this field, such as Paul Ekman, have demonstrated that while we can control our words and even our broader body language, these micro movements of the facial muscles often leak our true emotions before we have a chance to mask them. This is why a person might say they are fine while their face briefly flashes a sign of distress, or why a woman might appear neutral while her micro expressions betray a deep sense of intrigue or attraction toward the person she is interacting with. When a woman finds a man attractive, her brain releases a cocktail of neurochemicals, including dopamine and oxytocin, which physically manifest in her facial expressions through specific muscle contractions that are both subtle and profound. One of the most telling of these signals is the softening of the eyes. This is not merely a poetic description, but a biological reality driven by the autonomic nervous system. When we look at something or someone we find aesthetically pleasing or emotionally stimulating, our pupils naturally dilate. This physiological response, often referred to as mydriasis, occurs because the brain wants to take in as much visual information as possible about the object of interest. Beyond the dilation of the pupils, the muscles surrounding the eyes, specifically the orbicularis oculi, begin to relax. This relaxation removes the tension often associated with stress, skepticism, or professional detachment, creating a look that is often described as warm or dreamy. In social psychology, this is sometimes called the vulnerable gaze. By relaxing the area around the eyes, a woman is subconsciously signaling that she feels safe and comfortable in the man's presence. This softening is often accompanied by a slight lowering of the upper eyelids, which creates a focused yet gentle gaze that contrasts sharply with the wide-eyed stare of surprise or the squint of suspicion. It is a sign of intense focus that is simultaneously inviting and non-threatening. As the interaction continues, another common signal is the tilting of the head. From an evolutionary perspective, the head tilt is a powerful indicator of trust and receptivity. The human neck is home to the carotid artery and the jugular vein, some of the most vital and vulnerable parts of the anatomy. In the animal kingdom, exposing one's throat is a sign of submission or extreme trust. When a woman tilts her head while looking at a man, she is subconsciously exposing this vulnerable area, signaling that she does not perceive him as a threat and is open to his presence. Furthermore, tilting the head to one side exposes the ear more directly to the speaker, which is a sign of active and engaged listening. This movement also softens the lines of the face, making the individual appear more feminine and less dominant. It is a gesture that breaks the vertical, rigid posture of a formal or platonic encounter and introduces a more fluid, organic dynamic to the interaction. When combined with eye contact, the head tilt serves as a silent invitation for the man to continue speaking and to move closer into her personal space. An even more subconscious level of attraction can be seen in the mirroring of expressions. This phenomenon is driven by mirror neurons in the brain, which are responsible for empathy and social bonding. When a woman is highly attracted to a man and feels a strong rapport building, she will often unconsciously begin to mimic his facial expressions, gestures, and even his speech patterns. If he smiles, she smiles. If he leans in to whisper a secret, she leans in as well. If he expresses a look of surprise, her eyebrows might momentarily lift in tandem. This mirroring is a powerful social glue. It creates a sense of sameness and shared experience. It is the brain's way of saying, I am on the same wavelength as you. This isn't a calculated move to manipulate the other person, but a natural byproduct of a deep, focused connection. When a woman mirrors a man's expressions, she is demonstrating a high level of emotional attunement, which is a key component of romantic attraction. It shows that she is not just physically present, but is emotionally synchronized with the flow of the conversation and the energy of the man she is with. Another subtle yet significant micro-expression is the raising of the eyebrows, often called the eyebrow flash. This is a rapid upward movement of the eyebrows that lasts only a fraction of a second. In almost every culture across the globe, the eyebrow flash is a universal sign of recognition and positive greeting. However, in the context of attraction, it takes on a more specific nuance. When a woman sees someone she finds attractive, her eyebrows may lift slightly and stay elevated for a moment longer than a standard greeting. This opens up the eyes, making the face look more open and receptive. It signals a surge of curiosity and a desire to see more clearly. This expression is often accompanied by a slight parting of the lips. The combination of raised eyebrows and a slightly open mouth is a classic sign of being taken by someone. It indicates that the person has captured her full attention and has elicited a positive emotional response that her conscious mind has not yet had time to dampen. It is a flicker of genuine surprise and delight that serves as a green light for further engagement. The most recognizable sign of attraction is, of course, the smile, but not all smiles are created equal. A genuine smile of attraction is known as a Duchenne smile, named after the neurologist Guillaume Duchenne. This type of smile involves the contraction of both the zygomatic major muscle, which pulls the corners of the mouth upward, and the orbicularis oculi muscle, which crunches the corners of the eyes, creating the characteristic crow's feet or smile lines. A polite or forced smile usually only involves the mouth, leaving the eyes cold and unchanged. When a woman is genuinely attracted to a man, her smile will be full-faced. It will appear quickly and linger slightly longer than a social pleasantry. Furthermore, a smile of attraction often involves a slight lowering of the chin or a shy look, where she smiles while looking slightly away and then back again. This suggests a mix of genuine pleasure and a touch of bashful excitement. A genuine smile releases endorphins in both the person smiling and the person observing it, creating a positive feedback loop that reinforces the attraction between the two people. It is a clear indicator that she is enjoying the interaction and finds the man's presence rewarding. The pattern of looking away, and looking again is perhaps one of the most classic behavioral sequences in the dance of attraction. This is sometimes referred to as the copulatory gaze in biological terms, though in modern social settings, it is much more nuanced. When a woman is interested in a man, she will often establish prolonged eye contact, which creates a sense of intimacy. However, the intensity of this gaze can sometimes feel overwhelming, leading her to look away to break the tension. This looking away is often misidentified by men as a sign of disinterest. But the key is what happens next. If she is interested, she will inevitably look back. This cycle of looking and looking away is a way of testing the social waters and managing the emotional intensity of the encounter. Often, when she looks away, she will look down or to the side, rather than scanning the room for someone else. Looking down is a sign of modesty or submission, which can be a flirtatious signal. When she returns her gaze to the man's eyes, she is confirming that the initial contact was not an accident and that she is intentionally re engaging with him. This peekaboo style of eye contact is a rhythmic way of building tension and showing interest while maintaining a degree of social grace. While each of these individual expressions is a piece of the puzzle, the true key to understanding attraction lies in the identification of behavioral clusters. A single gesture, such as a head tilt or a smile, can be misinterpreted if viewed in isolation. A woman might tilt her head because she has a sore neck, or she might smile because she is being polite. To accurately gauge attraction, one must look for a cluster of three or more of these signals occurring within a short period of time. For example, if a woman is softening her eyes, tilting her head, and mirroring a man's gestures all at once, the probability that she is feeling a strong sense of attraction is exponentially higher than if she were only performing one of those actions. These clusters form a consistent pattern of behavior that is much harder to misread. It is also vital to consider the baseline behavior of the individual. If a woman is naturally very animated and smiles at everyone, her smile may not be a specific sign of attraction toward a particular man. However, if she is generally reserved but becomes animated, starts mirroring, and exhibits the eyebrow flash specifically when interacting with one person, that deviation from her baseline is a major indicator of interest. Furthermore, context is the lens through which all behavioral clusters must be viewed. The setting, the timing, and the nature of the conversation all play a role in how these signals should be interpreted. A professional environment may suppress some of the more overt signs of attraction, making the micro expressions even more important to notice. Conversely, in a social or romantic setting, these signals may be more exaggerated. Understanding behavioral clusters allows a man to move away from mind reading and toward a more objective observation of social data. By paying attention to the synchronization of facial expressions, body language, and the timing of these responses, one can gain a much clearer understanding of the underlying emotional current of an interaction. This educational approach to nonverbal communication shifts the focus from guesswork to observation, fostering better communication and deeper connections between people. Ultimately, recognizing these clusters of micro expressions and facial signals is about more than just identifying attraction. It is about developing a deeper empathy and awareness for the silent language that everyone speaks, whether they realize it or not. It is the ability to see the unspoken yes in a crowded room or the subtle invitation in a quiet conversation, making the complex world of human relationships just a little bit more navigable